Sometimes the hardest things to talk about are the simplest ones. People think speaking English becomes difficult when the subject is complex. Work, emotions, plans, problems. But there is something far more revealing, far more intimate, far more vulnerable. Talking about what you love, your hobbies, the things you choose to do when no one is watching. Because hobbies are not small details. They are tiny windows into who you are. When someone asks, "What do you do for fun?" they are not asking for a list. They are asking for a glimpse of your world. The quiet pieces of you that don't usually appear in everyday conversations. And suddenly, the words feel heavier, the silence feels louder, and English feels personal. I've seen this many times. Students who can explain complicated ideas at work, but freeze when I ask, "What makes your day a little brighter?" They hesitate, they apologize, they search for phrases that sound good enough, forgetting that hobbies aren't performances. They are stories, and stories are meant to be told with warmth, not perfection. If you've ever felt that tightness in your chest, that mix of anxiety, honesty, and wanting to be understood, you're not alone. Speaking about your hobbies in English isn't about vocabulary, it's about identity. So today, Marcus and I are going to walk through this quietly, gently, and naturally. And by the end, maybe you'll realize that your hobbies were never small talk. They were always a language of their own. So, Marcus, if someone met you at a coffee shop right now and asked, "What do you do for fun?" what would you say?
That question always feels complicated. I don't know why. I think I freeze a little. My mind goes blank and I start wondering if what I like is interesting enough.
Interesting enough for whom?
Good point. I guess for English speakers. For the conversation. I feel like I need to sound impressive.
You don't. You just need to sound like yourself. Tell me, slowly, what do you enjoy doing when no one is asking you to impress them?
Well, I like photography. But I always say it very quickly, like it's nothing. Oh yeah, I like taking pictures. And then I feel embarrassed as if I should justify why.
Photography isn't just something. It's how you see the world. How would you describe it if you didn't worry about sounding interesting?
Let me try. I like catching moments. Sometimes I take pictures of places I've already seen 100 times, but every time the light is different. And I guess that makes me feel more present.
That sounded natural, honest, and beautiful. Say this. Photography makes me pay attention to small details.
Photography makes me pay attention to small details. Yeah, that feels right. It feels true.
Good. Now imagine someone saying, "That's cool. What do you usually photograph?" How would you answer?
I'd say, I usually photograph streets and people. I like candid moments. Is that natural?
Very natural and very human. See, you didn't need complicated vocabulary. You just needed presence. Let's try another one. Besides photography, what else? Something simple.
Cooking. But that one I feel even more embarrassed about.
Why?
Because it sounds basic. Like everyone cooks.
But not everyone cooks to relax. Not everyone cooks the way you do. Describe it to me as if you were talking to a friend.
Okay, I like cooking at night. I put on some music and experiment with whatever I have in the kitchen. Sometimes I fail, sometimes I discover something really good. It's like a little ritual that helps me breathe.
Now, put that into English in one sentence.
Cooking helps me relax at the end of the day.
Perfect. Now imagine I'm a colleague at work asking casually, "Oh, really? What do you like to cook?" How would you answer without freezing?
I'd say, I like trying new recipes, but pasta is my comfort zone.
See? Natural, soft, honest. That's all a hobby needs to sound like. The moment you try to sound impressive, the language becomes heavy. Do you know what I notice, Marcus? You speak well when you're not judging yourself.
I know. It's like the moment I think, will this sound silly? I lose the flow.
Let's practice the opposite. Tell me something that does sound silly to you, but you still enjoy.
Okay, I like watching videos of people restoring old objects. Like rusty knives, broken toys, old radios. I never tell people this.
Why not?
Because it sounds pointless. But it calms me down.
Then say that in English, just as softly as you said it now.
I enjoy watching restoration videos because they calm me down. Wow, that actually sounds normal.
Because it is normal. The beauty of hobbies is that they don't need justification. If it makes your world lighter, it's worth talking about. Let's imagine you're at a small gathering. New people. You're holding a cup of tea. Someone asks, "So, what do you do for fun?" How do you respond?
I'd say, I'm into photography, I cook to relax, and I love restoration videos. What about you? Is that good?
Very good. But let's make it even more natural. Try this structure. I really enjoy, and honestly, one of my comfort hobbies is...
All right, I'm into photography, I really enjoy cooking at night, and honestly, one of my comfort hobbies is watching restoration videos. That feels smoother.
Exactly. Smoothness over perfection. Now, let's explore another hobby you haven't mentioned yet. Something physical, maybe?
Oh, I go for long walks. Not really exercise, more like wandering.
Then just say, "I love going for long walks." Simple, true, strong.
I love going for long walks. I say that a lot in Portuguese, but never in English. I don't know why.
Because when we speak another language, we sometimes forget who we are. But that's why we're here, to bring you back. Tell me something, Marcus. Why do hobbies matter to you?
Because my life is very noisy. Work, responsibilities, expectations. My hobbies feel like a place where I don't need to prove anything. It's just me doing things because they make me feel more alive.
Then say that in English. Not perfectly, honestly.
My hobbies make me feel alive. They remind me that life isn't only about responsibilities. That sounds vulnerable.
And vulnerability is part of natural conversation, especially in English. Let's try a final combination. Imagine someone genuinely curious, asking you, "Why do you like these hobbies?" Give me a full, natural answer.
I like these hobbies because they slow me down. Photography helps me notice things. Cooking helps me relax. Walking clears my mind. And restoration videos, well, they just make me smile. How was that?
Beautiful, warm, authentic. Exactly how hobbies should sound.
I feel lighter talking about them now.
That's what happens when you stop trying to be impressive and start trying to be present. Language flows when the heart does. You know, Marcus, there's something almost fragile about talking about your hobbies. People often think hobbies are simple topics, easy, light, harmless. But they're not. Hobbies are the small corners of our lives where we let our guard down. They reveal what brings us comfort, what helps us breathe, what quietly makes us who we are. And that's why speaking about them in English feels so intimate. You're not just choosing words. You're choosing pieces of yourself. When you say, "I love photography," you're not listing an activity. You're sharing a way of seeing the world. When you say, "Cooking helps me relax," you're admitting that life gets heavy sometimes and you found a way to soften it. When you say, I enjoy long walks, you're revealing the pace at which your heart moves. And the moment something becomes personal, the language becomes personal too. That's why so many learners freeze. They don't freeze because the vocabulary is hard. They freeze because the honesty is. There is a quiet vulnerability in saying, this makes me happy. It's like opening a window and hoping the other person will look inside gently. But here's the beautiful part. Hobbies create connection faster than almost any other topic. People don't bond over perfect sentences. They bond over shared passions, curiosity, and the spark in someone's eyes when they talk about something they love. And you don't need complicated English for that. Small, simple phrases carry the most truth. It helps me, it makes me feel. These phrases open doors, not just in conversation, but in people. When you speak about your hobbies naturally, you're not only practicing English, you're practicing being yourself in English. And when that happens, conversations stop feeling like tasks and start feeling like connection. That's the moment English becomes alive. Because language, Marcus, always lives in the things we care about. And hobbies are some of the gentlest places where that life begins. All right, Marcus, now let's go one step deeper. You said photography makes you pay attention to small details. Describe the last time you took a picture that really meant something to you.
Last Sunday, actually. I was walking near my neighborhood, and there was this old man sitting on a bench feeding pigeons. Nothing dramatic, nothing special. But he looked peaceful. I took a picture from far away. The light was soft. It felt like a quiet moment that didn't want to disappear.
So say that in English, just like that, softly, without overthinking.
Last Sunday, I took a picture of an old man feeding pigeons. The moment felt peaceful, and I didn't want it to disappear. Wow, that sounds exactly like it felt.
Because honesty translates into any language. Now, tell me why that moment mattered to you.
Because life moves too fast. And I think I'm afraid of forgetting the gentle moments. Photography reminds me they exist.
There you go. Say that too.
Photography reminds me that gentle moments still exist. I like that sentence.
I do too. Now, let's talk about cooking. Describe the last time you cooked something that made you feel proud.
That was unexpected. I made pasta. Nothing fancy. But I tried a sauce I had never made before: garlic, lemon, olive oil, a bit of cream. And it actually worked. I sat alone at the table, took a bite, and said to myself, okay, maybe I can cook.
Put that into English, naturally with the same humor.
Last week I cooked pasta with a new sauce, and when I tasted it I thought, okay, maybe I can cook. That feels very me.
Because it is you. And that's how hobbies should sound. Personal, not polished. Let's imagine this. You're at a friend's small dinner party. Someone asks, so, what do you like doing in your free time? How do you respond without shrinking?
I'd say, I'm really into photography. I love cooking at night, and honestly, long walks clear my mind. Is that enough?
Enough and beautiful. But let's stretch it. Say it again, this time with warmth, as if the person really wanted to know you.
Okay, I'm into photography because it helps me see the world differently. Cooking helps me relax after a long day. And long walks, they help me reset. That feels more open.
Exactly. English opens when you do. Let's talk about the restoration videos. Describe the last one you watched.
It was a guy restoring a rusty knife. The kind you'd find in an old toolbox. He cleaned it, polished it, sharpened it, and by the end it looked brand new. It sounds silly, but watching the transformation was oddly satisfying.
Say that in English, exactly the way you said it now.
I watched a video of a guy restoring a rusty knife. By the end it looked brand new, and watching the transformation was strangely satisfying.
Perfect. Now, tell me why it matters to you.
Because it reminds me that things can be repaired. That's probably why I like it.
Then say that.
It matters to me because it reminds me that things can be repaired. That's more emotional than I expected.
And that's why hobbies connect people. They're never just activities, they're reflections. Let's improvise a little. Imagine someone tells you, "Oh, I love your hobby choices. They sound peaceful." What would you answer?
I'd say, yeah, I guess I like hobbies that slow me down. Life gets noisy, so these things help me breathe. Is that natural?
Very. You're not forcing vocabulary. You're expressing who you are. Now imagine the opposite. Someone says, "Hobbies? I don't really have time for that." What would you say in a gentle, natural way?
I get that. But even small hobbies help me feel more balanced. Or maybe it doesn't have to be big. Just something that makes your day lighter.
Both sound empathetic. Both sound like you. Marcus, do you notice something? You're not translating anymore. You're not trying to sound impressive. You're simply speaking.
Yeah, it's strange. Once I stop trying to perform, the words come out softer. More real.
Exactly. Talking about hobbies isn't about vocabulary. It's about letting English hold a piece of who you are. When you do that, confidence happens naturally.
I'm feeling that now. It almost feels like English is becoming familiar.
That's the point. Your English shouldn't sound like a mask. It should sound like home, even when you're sharing something small like a hobby.
Thank you, Olivia. I feel like I'm finally learning how to talk about myself without fear.
And that Marcus is where real fluency begins. You know, Marcus and everyone listening. Hobbies are not just activities you do in your free time. They are a quiet kind of language, one that doesn't need rules or perfection or performance. When you talk about the things you love, you're not only sharing information, you're revealing the rhythm of your life, the things that make you breathe slower, smile softly, or feel more present. And that's why speaking about your hobbies in English can feel so intimate. It's not the grammar, it's the honesty. It's the moment you choose to show someone a softer fragment of who you are. And when you speak from that place, even the simplest sentences carry warmth. So I want you to practice this. Choose one hobby, even the quietest one, and describe it in English tonight. Not to impress anyone, but to meet yourself again in another language. And if this conversation helped you feel a little more confident, a little more seen, stay with us. Subscribe to the channel, leave a like, and come back for our next video. There's another lesson waiting for you, and it's appearing on your screen right now.